Heejin decided to be wild and skip her first court hearing for the massive lawsuit filed against her by Hybe subsidiaries Source Music and Belift Lab. Heejin and NewJeans are those types of people that gives humanity a bad name. It's like they have this unshakable need to create drama, like they are addicted to chaos, and who cares who gets caught in the crossfire. It's crazy how they can stir up so much chaos and act like it's no big deal. And the fact that they're still going at it despite everything falling apart around them is just sick. And then there are the cult followers, bunnies, who are the experts in being so far up their idols' backsides that they can't even see the damage being done, and they're out here coming up with the most BS arguments to defend Heejin and NewJeans. Like, Dispatch already exposed them for all the behind-the-scenes mess, but nope, the bunnies are still out here acting like nothing happened, throwing around nonsense arguments to keep the delusion alive. This behavior reeks of embarrassment. The way they twist things and just ignore the obvious is on another level of cringe. What's up, Rogeries, old and new? I know a lot of you have been asking me to weigh in on this whole situation, so here it is. I get it, some of you are probably tired of this mess, and trust me, I don't blame you. But at this point, we can't just ignore it. Let's dive into this disaster together, and I hope you can still enjoy the video despite everything that's going on. And remember that a single hot take will make the feckin' snowflakes turn into tsunamis. Heejin, the former CEO of Andor, is being hit with a defamation lawsuit by an ex-employee, and honestly, the audacity of this woman is unreal. The ex-employee isn't asking for much, just an apology and some accountability for the secondary harm they suffered after being essayed by Andor's former VP. Oh, just sitting there in silence, hoping if she ignores it long enough, the whole world will magically forget what a mess she's made. The lawsuit isn't even about the money. The ex-employee's lawyer, Jeon Hyung-hae, has straight up said they don't care about the 100 million Korean won, which is $75,000 USD. All they want is for Min to admit she messed up and apologize. That's it. No excuses, no drawn-out PR nonsense, just a simple, I was wrong. But instead, Min has been quiet as a graveyard, acting like she's above it all. It's infuriating. The ex-employee coming forward shows more courage than Min will ever have. Meanwhile, Min's silence is deafening and disgusting. That mediation is her chance to do the bare minimum, but if history tells us anything, accountability clearly isn't in her vocabulary. On top of all this, Mr. Executive has accused an executive of harassing him while he was working at Andor, claiming that former Representative Min Heejin actively covered up the executive's actions and insulted him. On top of that, Min allegedly leaked a private Kakao Talk conversation with Mr. A on Instagram, which is beyond unprofessional. But of course, Min is denying everything, calling Mr. A's claims false. She's even questioning why he's asking for an apology, saying it's strange since he wasn't involved in the conflict between her and Hybe at the time. Really, Min? It sounds like you're just deflecting responsibility and coming off as unempathetic and manipulative. Both sides are in a standoff right now because they couldn't reach an agreement during mediation, and now it's heading to trial. The Labor Office is investigating, and the results are coming out later this month. If Min Heejin thinks staying silent is going to save her, she's in for a rude awakening. Once those results are out, she won't be able to hide behind that silence anymore. Min Heejin's actions in this case are utterly disgraceful and reflect a profound lack of accountability and empathy. As the former CEO of Andor, she should have been setting an example of integrity and professionalism. Instead, she stubbornly refuses to admit any wrongdoing, choosing to deny and resist apology, thereby prolonging this unnecessary dispute. Her attempt to shift the blame onto A by questioning the timing and motives behind the lawsuit is a cowardly tactic that further highlights her refusal to take responsibility. Min's blatant disregard for the serious nature of the allegations against her, including covering up harassment and violating personal privacy, casts her actions in an unflattering light. Her apparent prioritization of protecting her image and position over addressing the harm caused to an employee is manipulative and unprofessional. Ultimately, her response to this situation is both pathetic and damaging to her credibility. Bruh. At this point, it's impossible to ignore how messy Min Heejin's actions are. To put it short, Davolink's chairman, Park Jung-kyu, spilled the tea about a secret meeting with her last year, where they talked about trying to pull NewJeans away from Andor and even discussed securing investments for the group. Of course, Min denied any of this ever happened when the accusations came up, claiming she had nothing to do with trying to move NewJeans to Davolink, a tech company listed on the Kospi. Park said Min even pitched a 5 billion won investment in NewJeans, but he turned it down because of the risks. Instead, he proposed a new plan. Min could take over management at Davolink with help from a relative of a NewJeans member. That way, he could make a profit with less risk. Yeah, and let's not forget how Min Heejin spent most of her time trash-talking Bang Si-hyuk in the process, calling him a fat pig, to put it nicely, like she just went through a messy divorce with someone she just met. Min was still working as an internal director at Andor during all of this, but when asked about it, she just denied the whole thing. If it turns out she really was trying to move NewJeans to another company while still working at Andor, that's a serious breach of duty. It's shady as hell, and could actually break corporate laws. After Min denied everything, Park says that Davolink's stock prices dropped. On top of all that, Heejin, Andor's parent company, filed a criminal complaint against Min in April for allegedly talking about ways to move NewJeans out of Andor through a group chat. At this point, it's clear Min's trying to bury the truth, but the evidence keeps stacking up. Dispatch already reported on this whole shady plot before, and now it looks like they nailed it. Remember when everyone thought Dispatch was just being dramatic, and netizens pointing out their actions as stalking? Yeah, well, their claims about Min trying to poach NewJeans are starting to sound like gospel. Her alleged backdoor dealings with investors while still working at Andor basically validates everything Dispatch said. Min Heejin's actions, if proven, would be a complete wrecking ball for both her and NewJeans. For Min, her career would be left in ruins. Sure, she's no longer with Andor, but the stain of shady dealings and backstabbing her former company will haunt her. No one in the industry wants to touch someone who's been caught in this kind of mess. Future employers will probably think twice before working with her. And the legal fallout could be ugly, especially if it's proven she breached her duties while still at Andor. She'll be forever marked by distrust, and good luck getting back to that powerful position she once had. For NewJeans, this kind of controversy can wreck their image in the eyes of potential investors, collaborators, and industry professionals. The K-pop world moves fast, and a tainted reputation can make it harder for them to land deals, endorsements, and even contracts in the future. Their growth could hit a massive roadblock, all because of a shady backroom deal that was never meant to see the light of day. Min Heejin decided to be wild and skip her first court hearing for the massive lawsuit filed against her by Heejin subsidiaries Source Music and Belift Lab. Like, not even a quick appearance. She just sent her lawyers to deal with it while she stayed wherever she was, doing who knows what. Honestly, it's giving I don't care vibes. So Belift Lab is coming for her, demanding 2 billion won, which is about $1.36 million. But wait, Min said, "Oh, you want to sue me? Let me sue you back." She filed a counter lawsuit for 5 billion won, which is roughly $3.47 million. And Source Music isn't sitting quietly either. They're suing her for 7 million won. The drama is real, and the zeros on these lawsuits are even more real. This all started way back in April 2024, when Heejin did an internal audit and accused her and her team of trying to take over Andor, and she clapped back like, "How? Heejin owns 80% of Andor. Make it make sense." She said the real problem was Heejin's chairman, Bang Si-hyuk, ignoring creative similarities between NewJeans, the group under Andor, and Illit, the new girl group under Belift Lab. That's when everything exploded. Heejin wasn't playing. They dropped receipts, including KakaoTalk messages where Min was allegedly plotting to take full control of NewJeans' activities. And to add fuel to the fire, they accused her of breach of trust. So what did she do? She held an emergency press conference, surrounded by lawyers, claiming she didn't plan to leave Heejin and calling out the company's politics. The audacity. But it gets messier. Hybe accused her of trying to poach NewJeans members to leave Andor and join her in some new project. And just when you thought it couldn't get spicier, the chairman of a tech company, Davolink, straight up said they talked about tampering. Like, you really have to get on someone's nerves that bad that your quote-unquote ally ratted you out. There was bound to be fallout. By November 2024, Min resigned as Andor's internal director, blaming Hybe for illegal audits and shady behavior. She didn't just leave quietly either. She said she's coming for them with legal action. And then, the cherry on top, NewJeans themselves terminated their contract with Andor just days later, or so they believed. They said their demands weren't being met and called out the chaos, including Hybe's failure to bring Min back as CEO Womp Womp. This entire situation is a circus, and Min Heejin is the star. Her skipping that court hearing just adds to the mess. It's like, how can you not show up when everything is falling apart around you? Min Heejin's actions in this entire saga scream shady and self-serving, and it's exhausting to watch her try to dodge accountability at every turn. Her decision to not even show up to the first court hearing is not just irresponsible, it's an insult to everyone involved. How can you expect to be taken seriously when you're too busy hiding behind your legal team to even face the music? I thought people at that age was supposed to be mature and wise, but it seems like she's suffering from brain degradation. And let's talk about her counter-lawsuit against Belift Lab. It reeks of pettiness. Suing for a much higher amount than what they're asking for doesn't make her look bold. It makes her look desperate to flip the narrative and paint herself as the victim. What's worse is how she's trying to spin the whole situation about creative overlaps between NewJeans and Illit. Nice try, but nobody's buying it. This all started with accusations of her scheming to take control of Andor, and her excuses don't hold water when there are leaked Kakao Talk messages showing her plotting ways to manipulate NewJeans' activities. Then she resigns, flings accusations back at Hybe, and tries to frame herself as the wronged party? Please. The timing couldn't be more suspicious, especially when NewJeans terminated their contract with Andor in their imaginations shortly after. It's clear that her actions fueled the chaos, and instead of owning up to her role in the mess, she's pointing fingers and doubling down on her own agenda. Her behavior doesn't just look bad. It makes her come across as calculated, untrustworthy, and a key player in the turmoil that's tarnished Andor and NewJeans. On January 10, 2025, Min Heejin came into court armed with 1,000 pages of what she claims is evidence, trying to back up her accusations against Belift Lab and Source Music. The lawsuits are hefty, totaling 2.5 billion won, around $1.7 million, and they're based on allegations of plagiarism, defamation, and interference with business operations. But here's the thing, her accusations just don't hold up. They're honestly tough to take seriously. Min's main claim is that Belift Lab's Illicate copied NewJeans' concepts and branding strategies. Belift Lab has already presented a timeline proving their work was finalized long before Min's supposed leak, which was July 21, 2023. They argue that any alleged leaks or accusations from Min Heejin occurred after this date, specifically on August 28, 2023, making it implausible for their finalized concepts to have been influenced by such claims. So when you break it down, her argument falls apart just by looking at the dates. Her attempt to use the fact that some fans thought Illit's teasers resembled NewJeans as proof of plagiarism is a serious stretch. In an industry where aesthetics often overlap, this just comes off as paranoia on Min's part. Anyone can tell that NewJeans' concept is all about Y2K, while Illit's concept leans into something more mystical or dreamlike. They're not even in the same ballpark. Then there's the defamation angle. Belift Lab isn't just denying Min's claims, they're saying that her comments have harmed their business. They've pointed to reduced album sales, lost advertising contracts, and the hit to their group's reputation as direct consequences of her words. Min might be trying to paint herself as some kind of transparency warrior for the K-pop industry, but that line is paper-thin at best. If she truly cared about fairness, why would she be so hell-bent on tearing down another group? It's hard to buy the noble stance when her actions suggest otherwise. Min Heejin's position in this situation appears weak, because her accusations against Belift Lab lack strong, undeniable evidence. She claims that Illit's concepts and branding were plagiarized from NewJeans, yet Belift Lab has presented a clear timeline showing their plans were finalized well before any alleged leaks. Directly contradicts her argument and undermines her credibility. Additionally, her reliance on fan confusion and aesthetic similarities as proof of plagiarism is not compelling in the highly competitive and visually overlapping world of K-pop. Without concrete proof of stolen ideas or direct copying, these claims seem speculative. Her decision to present 1,000 pages of evidence could be interpreted as overcompensation, especially if those documents fail to clearly demonstrate plagiarism. Instead of strengthening her case, it risks making her appear desperate or out of touch with the standards of proof required in such disputes. This combination of weak arguments and questionable evidence diminishes the legitimacy of her claims. But hey, this is just my take on this, not facts. Min Heejin's involvement in the workplace harassment case at Hybe is incredibly disturbing and raises serious questions about her integrity and motives. The accusations made by L, a former deputy representative at Andor, claim that Min not only had knowledge of workplace harassment and illegal audits, but was actively involved in covering them up. Despite the Ministry of Employment and Labor ruling the case as not guilty, the whole situation reeks of manipulation. Min allegedly coached L on how to obstruct the investigation, even going so far as to instruct L on how to delay the reinvestigation and countercharge the victim, A, with false accusations. Min wasn't trying to get to the truth, she was trying to protect herself. Her interference in the process wasn't a mistake or an accident. It was a deliberate attempt to avoid scrutiny and protect her own skin. Telling L to report the reinvestigation team for harassment is a calculated move to shift attention away from her role and disrupt the investigation into her involvement. And what's worse, Min had the nerve to sue A, the victim, claiming that A spread false information. This is nothing short of gaslighting. Min is accusing the person who was allegedly harassed of being the one spreading lies, all while she's the one coaching L to disrupt the process and obstruct justice. The logical inconsistencies in Min's actions are glaring. How can she claim innocence when there's overwhelming evidence that she was behind the manipulation of the investigation? Her attempts to shift blame onto A are nothing more than a diversion tactic. Min is more interested in protecting her image than facing the consequences of her actions. This whole situation shows Min's true colors: manipulative, self-serving, and entirely unwilling to take responsibility for her role in the harassment and obstruction. Her actions weren't about seeking justice. They were about saving her own reputation at any cost, even if it meant undermining the real victim. On January 13, 2025, Andor finally had enough of the chaos and dropped the legal hammer, filing an injunction against NewJeans. Andor's move was crystal clear. They want to keep their status as the official management company and prevent NewJeans from going rogue and signing deals without their say-so. Andor's statement makes it clear that they've had enough of NewJeans acting like they're the bosses now. They're not here for any of this "I'm going to sign with whoever I want" nonsense. Andor's fighting for their rights and wants to ensure the group isn't running wild, signing ads with anyone who'll have them. After all, it's their business, and they're not about to let their million-dollar investment get hijacked by a bunch of solo deals from members who think they're untouchable. Andor's trying to preserve order and stability, stating they're doing this to prevent confusion and chaos. Because, let's face it, if NewJeans keeps trying to cancel their contract like a bad breakup, it'll be an absolute mess for everyone involved. How would that look for advertisers or other partners when suddenly a member decides, "Nah, I'm going solo," and signs on the dotted line without even checking with Andor? Disaster. Andor has every right to fight for its interests here, and they've got no time for petty drama. They're not here for the rebellious teenager vibes. They're about business. And they're not letting a group of idols tear down the system just because they're upset. While Andor is holding it together like a professional, NewJeans is throwing tantrums in the legal sandbox. They're out here saying they want to terminate their exclusive contracts, and they're already playing the field with independent promotional deals. This is basically like breaking up with someone and then showing up at their door the next day, acting like nothing happened, and trying to swipe their credit card. You can't just walk out of a contract like it's a bad date and expect the world to keep spinning in your favor. NewJeans is acting like they don't care about the fallout, But it's only going to be a matter of time before they realize they've signed up for a mess of their own making. Here's where Andor's professionalism really shines through. They're taking the legal steps to ensure they're respected and keeping things on the level. Andor is fighting for its business interests because, surprise, surprise, they know what they're doing. They're not just whining about bad contracts, they're making sure things stay professional and in check. They're not out here trying to make Heejin feel like they're trapped. They just want to keep things fair and legally sound. And sure, Andor might not be throwing a "we miss you, come back" party, but they're also not out here burning every bridge just for a quick win. Heejin, on the other hand, is doing the equivalent of trying to sign a deal in the middle of a divorce. It's sloppy, unprofessional, and it's going to burn them. They think they can just ditch their management and play it solo? Good luck with that. They're making impulsive moves that could totally wreck their image. They're basically telling their fans, yeah, we're out here doing whatever we want, but here's the reality. They're disrespecting the contract, disrespecting the agency that got them this far, and they're about to make a whole lot of people in the industry look sideways at them. They're not just playing a risky game, they're betting it all on a bad hand. So what does this all mean? Andor's keeping it professional, while Heejin acts like rebellious teens who can't be bothered to read the fine print. Andor's playing the long game, while Heejin is skipping straight to the drama. Someone's got to be the adult in the room, and clearly Andor is taking that role. Heejin better hope they're not playing with fire. Because when you burn the bridge, there's no walking back. So let's talk about the whole Heejin staff inspecting Heejin's vacated dorms, because apparently this is a thing now. People are debating whether this was the right move or just another layer of drama in the Andor versus Heejin saga. But let's break it down for a second and use some good old common sense. First off, those dorms are company property. That's right. Heejin paid for it, maintained it, and, surprise, they have every right to check it out when the tenants pack up and leave. This isn't some petty invasion of privacy, it's standard protocol, like getting your landlord to inspect your apartment before you move out. It's about protecting their assets and making sure everything's in order. And let's be real, with a legal battle this messy, you can't just assume good faith. Documenting the state of the dorms is essential, especially when accusations and counterclaims are flying left and right. What if something was damaged? What if something was missing? Or worse, what if someone decided to spread misinformation about the state of the place? Having that inspection on record eliminates any he said, she said nonsense later on. Also, Andor is still saying that the contract is valid. And that means, legally, they're still responsible for managing the group's professional environment, housing included. You can't just ignore that, no matter how chaotic things have gotten. This inspection isn't about being controlling or invasive. It's about tying up loose ends and making sure no further issues pop up in court. Imagine the scandal if they didn't check and something shady came out later. Exactly. It'd be 10 times worse. Now, I know people are quick to call Heejin or Andor the villain in this whole story, but let's not pretend this is some evil scheme. This is business. Companies protect their investments, and inspections like this are just a part of that process. So before anyone jumps on the "how dare they" train, let's take a breath and recognize that this is just one more chapter in a long, messy book. Trust me, the real drama isn't the dorm inspection. It's what happens when the court finally drops its ruling. That's where the fireworks are going to be. Bunnies are out here spreading misinformation, thinking Heejin can just snap their fingers and terminate their contract like canceling a subscription. As far as they are concerned, Heejin's word is law, and the law doesn't matter. Bunnies believe that they are above the law and can do anything that they choose. They have no regard for the consequences of their actions and do not hesitate to take advantage of their company that gave them everything. They are a menace to society and a cause of great distress for others. K-pop contracts, especially the infamous 7-year ones, are no joke. They're legally binding agreements designed to protect the company's investment, with layers of clauses about royalties, endorsements, and obligations. Breaking them isn't a simple "I'm done" moment. It involves lengthy legal battles, paperwork, and court appearances. If breaking a contract were easy, we'd see more idols walking away from actual mistreatment. Instead, most endure years of struggle to get even a chance at freedom, often facing non-compete clauses and PR nightmares. These contracts are carefully constructed to ensure the company retains control, protecting their financial and professional interests. Now about Andor's injunction. Instead of diving straight into a lawsuit, which can take months or years, Andor filed an injunction to temporarily freeze the situations. This prevents NewJeans from signing unauthorized deals, damaging professional relationships, or acting like the contract never existed. The injunction isn't about being controlling, it's a preemptive move to protect Andor's rights and maintain stability while the courts handle the bigger legal mess. Without it, the fallout could cause irreparable harm to advertisers, fans, and business relationships. So for anyone playing legal expert aka bunnies who graduated from Twitter law school, understand this. Breaking a K-pop contract is complex, messy, and far from easy. Alright, that's it for today. I really hope this video didn't drag for you because I tried my best to keep it snappy and to the point. For those expecting something else, don't worry. I'll be back with more opinion videos soon, but I had to address this chaos. Let's pray this drama wraps up fast so K-pop can finally breathe again. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Don't leave me hanging, Rogeries. I'll catch you next time. Bye!